Hi everybody, it's me, Sailor Earth, aka Ernest here, and I'm going to talk about did Sailor Moon rip off Power Rangers? And I say no. Now there's going to be a lot of coincidence and similarities between both the Power Rangers and Sailor Moon. Now yes, Sailor Moon was based off a Super Sentai as far as the transforming or morphing or fighting monsters of the week or having special powers. And the Power Rangers were actually, adapted from Super Sentai, where they used either stock footage for the fighting scenes or using costumes, making costumes based off of costumes that were done in Super Sentai. Now, many people are going to be under the impression that Power Rangers came out first and Sailor Moon came out second. The truth is, and sorry for my nose making that snorting sound, I have no control over it. Now, the truth is, sorry to clear my throat. The truth is that Sailor Moon came out in 1992. The anime form came out in that time. The manga came out before the anime did. Power Rangers didn't debut until 1 year later, 1993 AD. Now, everybody out there is under the impression that one show had to be ripping off the other show. But I really don't think that's the case. For Sailor Moon to have been able to rip off the Power Rangers or Power Rangers be able to rip off Sailor Moon would imply that but people were looking what was going on. For example, Darien or Monaru, whatever you want to call him, aka Tuxedo Mask or Tuxedo Come was captured by Queen Beryl and brainwashed into being evil. The same thing happens. Tommy Oliver is kidnapped by Rita Repulsa and brainwashed into being evil. Even though the Tuxedo Mask brainwashing angle or storyline arc takes place halfway towards the end of Sailor Moon anime, and the Evil Green Ranger storyline arc takes place in the beginning of the first season. But there are similarities, and they were just coincidences. Because the Power Rangers were based off of Super Sentai, that did happen, and Super Sentai, so it was adapted. And that was just a coincidence that it happened first in Sailor Moon. I think mostly if Sailor Moon it was taking liberties from Super Sentai. That, yes, I believe it was. Nako Takiguchi was actually a fan of Super Sentai. I don't know if she still is, but at the time she was. And she wanted to make a a woman version of it. She wanted to give them, make them be able to transform and morph and have special powers and fight monsters of the week and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think she may have based that storyline angle that happened in Super Sentai or storyline arc and just did it in Sailor Moon, but did it later on instead of doing it early on. Same way that Han Siobhan may have based it and adapted the whole Evil Green Ranger storyline arc for the Power Rangers first season, basing on what happened on Super Sentai in that season. So there were only coincidences, because it's very hard for a show that came out in 1992 to basically rip off or adapt something from a show that would not show up until 1 year later. Okay? Another thing that some people may or may think is coincidences is monsters of the week or morphing or transforming. Yes, it is true that both Sailor Moon and Power Rangers have a monster of the week. You know, a certain villain that monster they have to face in that particular episode. Now there are a lot of similarities. The Power Rangers morph and the Sailor Soldiers transform, and even though technically morphing and transforming are the same thing, they are differ from the fact that metamorphosis is a slower change, where transforming is a quicker change. Anyway, regardless of all that, there are many differences. When the Sailor Soldiers beat a monster in Sailor Moon, the monster is defeated. In the Power Rangers, the monster is not defeated, but then goes to grow into its big mode, requiring the Power Rangers to use their Megazord to battle it and defeat it. Now, sometimes the formula may differ. In Power Rangers Space Patrol Delta, some of the villains never grow big. They might get defeated and then get a robot and battle the Rangers and end up losing at the end and then getting arrested. But that was only for Power Rangers Space Patrol Delta. All the other Power Rangers seasons went back to the formula. The monster's defeated, he gets big, the Megazord, they use the Megazord to battle it, they defeat it. Sailor Moon, it never really happened. Oh yes, maybe in Sailor Moon Romance, Emerald turns into a giant dragon, but that was the exception to the rule. And even when the Sailor Soldiers defeat Emerald in her dragon form, Emerald is then for all purposes defeated, dead, you know. She doesn't come back for a round 2, requiring them to have to use a power move on using a team up power move, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, regardless of that, there are some similarities, but then again there are some differences between both shows. Now, some people who are Sailor Moon fans and Power Ranger fans might notice some of the similarities, but then again, that similarities you could use that for any other show out there. I mean, just look, there's many other shows that follow almost that same formula. So to say that one show is ripping off or the other show, at least as far as Sailor Moon and Power Rangers go, both shows are very similar but very different at the same time, and it's only coincidences that it happens because both of them, one's based it off of Super Sentai and one's adapted from Super Sentai, so there was liberties with both of them. That's it. I am Sailor Earth, aka Ernest. Hope you enjoyed this video. Know what I mean?